Welcome to Uncomfortable Growth, the podcast where we get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. This is a space for real conversations about growth in all the places life stretches us, because growth doesn't only happen when things are going well, because sometimes growth looks like we're barely surviving. If you ever felt like growth was harder than you expected, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's conversation. Podcast is Uncomfortable Growth. It's for entrepreneurs and business owners. I'm a huge believer that life is uncomfortable. And I think everything we do in life requires you to get uncomfortable to take that next step. So we talk about, what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, what it looks like to be what people think is successful, I will say, because I think a lot of people wrap success up in a little bow and don't realize that it's just life sometimes and there's challenges. And then talk about your business and talk about, you've had quite the journey. I've known you for years. You're a naturopathic doctor. You left your practice. You're doing amazing things now. So we want to really break into the real, the raw, let people know who you are. I'll let you introduce yourself and we'll just chat and dive in.
Sounds fun. I'm game.
Yeah, it'll be great.
So, I'm Jennifer Haessler. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've been practicing. I still am practicing. I just no longer own the clinic.
Okay.
So that's sort of my entrepreneurial story. I graduated from the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine 2003, and that's when we moved up here. And so I just kind of thought, there's a natural progression of what is supposed to happen next.
Yeah.
So I wrote my licensing exams. Once I passed those, I opened up my practice. Way back when I was at Gertson Chiropractic. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Wow.
And then,
You owned Maple Shores, right?
Yes.
For a long time.
Yes.
So I always thought that when you walked away from Maple Shore, I thought you stopped practicing.
No.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, my practice is now exclusively virtual.
Okay.
So it was a whole progression. First I was renting office space and, everything around my practice, I was still pretty much managing myself. And, we didn't really even have social media, definitely not like it is now. Facebook existed.
You felt cringy still, doing selfies.
Right, but you didn't.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had a cell phone.
Yeah.
I took out an ad in the Shoreline Beacon and there were no other naturopaths around. I just started emailing people and calling people and asking if they wanted me to do talks, because nobody even really knew what a naturopathic doctor was, right? Or why you would go see one.
Because I'm going to stop you. How long have you been a naturopathic doctor?
Since 2003.
Okay.
So, 22 years. It's pretty much exactly. It was November of 2003.
Yeah, back then it would have been you're what?
Yeah, there was nobody else around. I couldn't collaborate and to share ideas the way that, and even there were some platforms with my classmates, but it was different.
It was different.
I felt very much like I was figuring it out myself, and that's probably also my mindset, right? And just nose to the grindstone, I got to do this and make this happen. So it grew quite well organically, word of mouth and doing other talks, and then I decided that I would open up a practice just in where Sunset Blinds is. That was where I was with Tony Cake for a few years, and then we decided to buy Maple Shores, brought on other practitioners, and then I think a year and a bit after we purchased that, and I was still practicing myself, was when I had my oldest, Ewan. So obviously that kind of changes things a little bit, right? I only took, I think, 8 months off work.
Wow.
And he had some health issues, so it was a lot. Looking back, I'm
Isn't it funny how now when we look back we can give ourselves grace, but when you're living it you can't?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Like, I went back to work. He was not able to nurse, but I was adamant that and now I'm like, why was I so adamant? Like, that I needed to keep pumping. So I was back at work pumping, bringing milk. Like, it was a lot. And and then a few years later, 3 years later, we had our second son. And then 17 months later, we had our daughter.
That was baby.
So I went back to work after our second, already very much pregnant with our third.
Oh my gosh.
So there was a lot happening. And then fast forward 3 years after our daughter was born, 3.5, and then we had our fourth.
Oh my gosh.
So we had a hard time starting our family. So when the number 3 and 4 just kind of came along, they were very pleasant surprises.
Yes.
But definitely I had a lot of things I was juggling. I had a nanny that helped on the days I was in clinic. But I was, in my mind, I was starting to think, what else could this look like?
Yeah. How can I make this easier?
And I just knew and I don't mean this in a bad way because I loved the people I worked with, but I was being in clinic just felt like my hardest days. Mm-hmm. And then I'd go home and the kids were very much needing me. Yeah. It's not so
there's a sense of you're missing it, right?
Yes.
Did you feel that? Did you feel?
I don't know if I felt it in the moment.
Right.
But looking back, I realized it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, well, what else can I do? So I, started working with someone to develop an online program. It was called Your Best Life. It was a 6-week program. I did it through Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just learning these things as I went along with some support. And I really liked that. But that was on top of everything else. But it did kind of make me think okay, there's something here. People are interested. I enjoy talking with people over social media.
And you did that all before it was the way to do it. It wasn't everybody's on social running a platform. You took that's a big leap. Being a naturopathic doctor, but then putting it onto, yes, you did something different, but you still put it onto an online platform before it was, we'll say, trending.
It was just kind of starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very grassroots. And, in retrospect, I'm I should have charged way more. But, there was no baseline, right?
Yeah.
But it went well. But I realized, after our youngest was born, I just handling all the back end stuff. Yeah. And the way that these things integrated, right? You have your core software, you have your Zapier, you have and something goes wrong, and it was me that it would get the message that somebody couldn't access with it, and I was it doesn't come naturally to me.
Takes some time.
Yeah, and it just started to feel like it was too much. I also at that time, you'll remember I did Stella and Dot because I was I want something fun, which if anyone doesn't know, it's a multi-level marketing.
But you did very well.
I did do really well with it, but I was grinding, right?
Yeah.
I remember saying to somebody, oh, it's so great. You can just work on your phone while you're going to the bathroom. How is that a selling feature?
That's fair. Never thought of it that way.
But I was literally packing every single moment. So then I said to remember it was New Year's. I think it was, now I'm getting my years mixed up. But anyways, Steve and I, my husband, were talking about what do we want for the next year. Yeah. And I was I want to move exclusively virtual. And Steve was really? But he's very supportive, and he was okay,
let's do it.
Think this over. So there were a few months later, and then eventually I had a conversation with my business partner at the clinic. I was this is what I'm thinking. The other piece was I was working less in the clinic in my own practice just because
you were doing so many things.
And because 4 kids and, little kids and so it was making less sense for me to be managing the whole, co-managing equally the whole clinic, right? So we had a conversation. He decided he wanted to purchase the building and the practice or the clinic. And so this is very serendipitous and ironic, but like the date we had agreed on was the end of March 2020.
Oh my God. Wow.
So
that's insane.
Like, it still gives me goosebumps,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Like, crazy.
Yeah.
Because the whole concept, I was like, I still want to practice, but I feel like I need more space. I need more flexibility for, you know, the kids get sick or, and I just can't be like tied to a brick and mortar. So I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to take my practice virtual. Well, COVID made that a lot easier.
Yeah, like what an amazing, like I know COVID wasn't amazing, but what an amazing opportunity though as well. When everybody, that's how we were all living.
Yeah.
Right? Like Christmas dinner was on Zoom with my family. So like it's funny how the universe presents opportunities, and there's always opportunities.
Yeah.
Even in tragedy.
Even in craziness. Yeah. So it didn't play out the way that I imagined, because everything shut down a couple weeks early, right? So my time in the clinic after, oh gosh, how many years was that? Like 10 plus years, you know, it was like, just, that was it.
Yeah.
And then when it was time for, and everything got delayed because banks weren't giving loans and all that initially. So we just kind of like worked out an alternative arrangement. But when it came to like move my stuff out, nobody was allowed to help me, right? So it's like, hear me. And Steve had to stay home with the kids. So I'm like moving myself out of this building.
Gosh, ending a chapter.
It was weird, but I mean, funny. I mean, that part felt a little sad, right?
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to, you know, go out for dinner, and like I did really love my staff. But at the same time, I've never regretted that I made this decision. And then when COVID happened and the kids were home and then at school and then home, and like Crosby, our youngest, was still only 2. So he was like, it's not like he needed somebody watching him all the time. So I didn't really get to like gear. I still continue to do my practice, but on a much lower level, because I was like, this is all that can happen right now. And still ran like in the, I was like, oh gosh, there was something else too that I was doing. It was the online fitness and nutrition coaching. Yes, the faster way coaching. So that I had started because I wanted something for me.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't get to the gym with 4 kids, but I need something. And so the person who created this program was one of the people who helped me when I made mine. I was like, I'll just give it a try.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I was like, this is great. This is real. This is effective. Like, I can do this, half-an-hour workouts. And then when the opportunity came up that they were bringing on other coaches, I was like, this is such a great fit for what I do as a naturopath. Yeah. Like, I always talk to people, you know, we need to eat enough protein, we need to strength train, but then actually doing it is hard for a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, like all of us. I've been there too. And so I was like, this is a way I can actually walk my patients through, you know, getting this as part of their routine.
Yeah.
So I mean, ideally, I would love for all of my patients to do it, and that's sort of like the direction of how I'm trying to set things up.
Well, it makes sense, right? Like if you've helped me with my nutrition in the past. You've helped, like I think I did your faster way. You were still at Maple Shores.
Yeah, that was like it's changed a lot since then, but yeah.
And I was coaching CrossFit then.
Yes.
But I came in and like, it's just such a full circle, right? Like nutrition is so important of what you put in your body and fueling your body properly. But exercise is so important as well. Mm-hmm. The one thing I think people do is when they hear exercise, they envision that it has to be so hard. Mm-hmm. And I did that for years. Like I still love CrossFit to this day, but I know it's a lot of stress on my body. I know it's a lot of stress in my mental state. I know I get too competitive with myself, almost, where it's like, oh, I gotta do more. Where if we look at, I'll even use the 75 hard that we just did as a family, we did very gentle workouts. It wasn't yes, I was lifting weight, but I wasn't doing CrossFit style. I was working my arms one day, my legs another. Our second workout was a walk 99% of the time. And our results were incredible. Mentally, stress-wise, I really feel like when I'm doing these crazy hard, for me at this stage of my life, hard workout, it was stressing my body, which was creating more issues I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
So to be able to have someone like you to put it all together, put the workouts, really know your clients, like it's just a full circle win-win situation. Like,
well, and I passionately believe, you know, those, your fitness and your strength training and your nutrition, like there's such a foundational piece of good health, especially most of the patients I work with are either perimenopausal or menopausal, like somewhere in that transition. And those are, it's essential, right? Like I can prescribe bioidentical hormones, I can do lots of things to support, but we still need that. It's just like a house.
Yeah.
You still need a good foundation. You can't just go in and paint all the walls and then think everything's going to be better, right?
Yeah.
The leak starts happening again. So like, you know, I really passionately believe like that's where true change happens, and not even just in doing the workouts. It's like what you said, it's in like doing something for yourself and then starting the trajectory of like, I can do other things too, right?
And being gentle enough with yourself to understand like who I was, you know, 30-year-old Jen. Sure, I could go and do crazy workouts and do all of the things. But 42-year-old Jen, that's a mom, a business person, it shouldn't be, oh, I can't do that anymore, so I have to stop. And I think we all get in this, oh, well, I used to work out like that, but I can't work out like that in this time of my life right now. Maybe I could, but I can't right now. I won't do it. So being gentle enough to understand, I think, the chapter, your body, we're going to get to hormones in a second, your hormones, menopause, perimenopause, all of these things that we as women have, and men have their things as well. Absolutely. To be gentle enough and not make that excuse that I can't do this anymore and just throw in the towel. Well, no, you can do it, but you can just do it differently. I think that is such an important piece.
Well, and I think a lot of us when we're younger are more familiar with like, maybe it's CrossFit, but for a lot of people like cardio based workouts, right? Like going running, doing races, and that's not really what our body does best with in terms of doing a lot of once we get to the stage where hormones are transitioning. And the other reality is like we rapidly start to break down muscle mass if we don't build it and keep it. So, and that changes like our metabolism, it changes our inflammation, it changes like, so it's like this vicious cycle of all these things happening, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to start running again. And that's not even, it doesn't.
That's not even what you need.
It's not what you need. And usually bring about the results that people are working towards. And I always preach progress over perfection. You know, we can't always, life happens. It is life, right? This was my social media story today, like was just like, we can't wait until after Christmas or until things settle. Because the reality is like, life is life. There's always something.
We just went through this because our family, everybody knows this, our family just finished 75 hard, and this time we did it as a family. Rob and I had done it before, but we did it as a family. The boys did it too, and we made it work. It was incredible. It was the coolest thing we have done as a family together. It was so encouraging and such. For our diet, it wasn't like, oh, we're going keto or we're eliminating carbs, or it was, you know, we're just going to make healthy choices. Like, we're going to eat vegetables. We're not eating out. There's no sugar, no chips, no snacking, no pop. Tons of water. And it was just kind of like, okay, what are we having for dinner? We would all be like, oh, we're so craving pasta. Oh, we really want pasta. So we would look up a recipe that would give us that craving together as a family, but still wasn't pasta. We found this awesome protein pasta, which was great. And it was black bean and all of the things, but it made us really dig in together. And the results we got were incredible.
I saw your before and afters. Like, it is incredible.
It's funny because Preston's buddies were like, did your mom Photoshop? And like, that was like a year or two ago, right? I'm like, no, that was legit 75 days ago. But you get really good at hiding it or covering it, or, you know, I was opening up a business and I was eating out every day and I was burnt out. Yeah, successfully, business-wise per se, was crushing it. Health-wise, emotionally, I was like drowning. And it was like, okay, it's time to do something that works for me, but it has to be different, that it works, that it's sustainable. Mm-hmm. And we're still sticking with our health journey and we're trying to level it up, but what works now? I don't even know how we got here, but it's just so important. I think it's so important to be gentle with yourself. Oh, that's it. That's why we got there, is with 75 Hard, when we were trying to pick a day to start. We were going to pick mid-August so we could be done by this time. Then we were like, okay, the grand opening's happening and we're going to be having that catered. So we can't do that. And Rob was in ball weekend and Lincoln had the end of year get together with his friends. And it was just like, there's always a reason why you shouldn't start.
Yeah.
It's like we started literally September 1st and Preston was like, oh, well, I'm going to miss Halloween. Right. And it's like, okay, well, if we push it, well, then we're doing it over Christmas. There's never a good time.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And like, just keep remembering. I'm always like, sure, sometimes we can do things like 75 Hard. You're pretty committed to a number of things, which is amazing. But even like making progress in some of those areas still creates forward momentum, right? And that's what I think we need to, or, sometimes women will say, oh, I'm too old, or, I there's no way I could do, like, my story when I was younger was never that I was an athlete of any kind.
Yeah.
Like, I was smart.
Yeah.
As a kid, count my pages I read in my books in the summer, and my mom would be like, Jennifer, get outside, like, stop reading in your room. Amazing. Like, I was such a, and that just, I never played on a sports team. So this was like not something I really identified with as being me.
Right.
And then as, I did a few like step classes in like university, right? That was the thing. And
Zumba,
yes, I did those too when we first moved to Port Elgin. I knew nobody. I was like, I'll go to the gym and I'll do some classes, mostly with ladies that were like my mom's age, right? That's okay. Yeah. They were really nice, and I still know a lot of those ladies. But I still never really did anything super consistently.
Yeah.
And so I've been now with Faster Way for 7 years, I guess almost 8 years personally, and as a coach, just over 7.
Wow.
But even my journey throughout that time, like in the last year and a half, like I have been super consistent with my workouts, and I feel so good. And I really feel like that has transitioned over into so many other areas of my life. But that was always, I would have been the person saying that that's not me. There's no way I could do that.
It's what works for you in that moment. And everybody's chapter kind of consistently changes. I truly feel like I hate working out in the morning. But if I get my workout in the morning, I feel so much better all day. Mm-hmm. Like it's not even just about the getting fit side. It's about the mental side. In our world, like, we are so caught up in, I think, anxiety and depression, and there's comparison, social media. As much as I love social media, it's still like, we can't escape the constant race, I think. I think there's never escaping it. Where your workout actually, like, you just feel so much better. Dan Martell, we were talking about this earlier, he's incredible, and he always says, exhaust the body, tame the mind. That's his like line, and it's so true. Like, my exhausting of the body can be different than your exhausting of the body. A walk could exhaust my body, where, doing a full workout might exhaust yours, but whatever it is for that day, exhaust that and you'll feel so much better.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. Like, and another story I always said was like, there's no way I could wake up in the morning to work out.
Yeah.
No way. And then it was actually like one of my clients who was like, I'd really like to have somebody, to keep me motivated. And I was like, oh, well, maybe, sure, I'll like meet you over Zoom and we'll do the workout of the day together. So it started like that, and then school, so that was in the summer, then school started, the schedule had to move earlier. She actually went on to doing her workout at a different time, but I stayed with it. And like now since September of last year, like I get up at 5:45 and the workout's half an hour, 28 minutes, like in that range. And, you know, some mornings are harder than others. I go to bed earlier now too, but I feel better because I'm getting enough sleep, which wasn't something that was happening prior years. But never do I finish it and think like, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh,
the next day maybe.
Sometimes. Hopefully it's mostly a good kind of sore, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But to like see myself and be like, hey, I've got some shoulders. Like, it's not about, you know, being a certain size. It's more about like seeing what I'm capable of. And I feel like business is like that too. We can get into a box, you know, just like me initially, and all the things that happened, I think they had to happen that way in order for me to be able to look at things differently, right? For me to say, oh, I wish I didn't do so many things when the kids were little, but that brought me to where I am right now.
And I think entrepreneurs in general, if I look back at all of the different paths I've taken, you as well, you're still the same, right? Like you can pivot. And if you're not willing to pivot and change, you're not going to get to that next level. Like you just aren't. So like the pivoting and being able to, at the moment, didn't feel like chaos. It just felt like life. But when you look back, but being able to navigate the craziness of life helps you feel when you are navigating something that's a little bit more. Like for me, I look at before I was in real estate to now, and I'm just like, holy man, it was insane. Like in the spa world and dealing with customers and people and staff and all of the things that came and traveling and teaching people how to sell, all of those things, as many nights were up and I felt like I was failing and what am I doing? And I think the biggest insecurity was I felt like I was hopping so much, right? Like you feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or, oh, I'm never satisfied, or, oh, it's never enough. But it put me in a position now where I feel, and there's still many things in real estate that make me feel like it's crazy, but I know I can handle it. Because if I could handle that with babies and kids and sick and all of the things, you can do anything. You just got to have the right mindset.
Absolutely. Mindset is everything.
And your story, like, you look at, I want to go back just for a second and talk about the uncomfortableness of leaving your practice and how that was and how you managed to, because again, even right now, we live in the same neighborhood. I've done your program. I didn't realize you were still practicing. So how did that challenge and uncomfortable situation, if we could break that down a little bit for anybody who's watching, that can understand how you feel, because I know there's many nights people always say, and I'm sure you hear it constantly because I think you're incredible. Anybody who knows you knows your story locally. We live in a small town, so everybody knows everybody. But there had to have been nights where you're like, holy heck, what am I doing? Let's talk about that side of it. How did it affect, even you and Steve? Like, the challenge is Steve owns a business. He's very successful. He builds homes, like all of that thing. And as much as we don't like to admit it, the perception side of things, people's assumptions. Let's just dive a little bit into that real side. And then I really want to get into hormones.
I know so many good things to talk about. Well, I would say, like, for one thing, it was a progress, right? Like, it was a process of, like, me starting to see, like, what else could I do? And then I'm like, okay, I kind of like that better. Could this be an option? Voicing it, like saying, I think this is what I want. And that even alone felt scary, even though nothing had happened. But thankfully, like, Steve being so supportive definitely helped. And then, like, having the conversation, like, it was very scary. And for me, I mean, I've changed a lot. I'll be 50 in a few months, which blows my mind away.
You look incredible.
Thank you. So in April, I'll be 50. But, like, when I look at all of the things that have happened since I turned 40, I'm like, I am not the same person. I mean, I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And so at 40, I was still the person who, like, really wanted to please, right? Wanted to, I mean, even the profession I chose, right? I want to help people. I want to get people feeling better. And I was always like giving a lot, and then I'd come home and I'd give a lot to my kids, and I really wasn't filling my own cup at all at that point. So to become like, that felt really scary, to think I'm going to take this step, which is not what people, I was worried, would think is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm running, the clinic is busy and successful. My practice could be as busy as I wanted it to be. I was choosing to only work a few days a week. Yeah. But I don't know, something, my idea of like, and even my parents were like I remember, I mean, I don't want to make my dad sound bad, but when he found out that I was doing Stella and Dot, he's like, Jennifer, do you need money?
Parents are amazing, though. They love you, right? Yeah. I remember when I told my parents I was going into real estate, they laughed. Literally, like, laughed.
Yeah.
And they're incredible, but they just...
It wasn't what they were expecting.
Yeah. They just can't.
And I mean, in his mind, he was like, why would she's a naturopath? Why would she be selling jewelry? But I was just looking for something like fun.
Yeah.
Right? There's no stress in saying, do you like this necklace?
Yeah. I still have earrings that I bought off you, and I am obsessed with them, and every time I wear them I get compliments on them, and
that's awesome. And I still have like a lot of I got so much jewelry in that 5 years, and I mean I loved it. It was just fun, and you know, that was a little bit of play for me, even though I was doing play in a grinding way.
You crushed Stella and Dot.
I had so many good trips, and then somebody, I think it was my accountant, was like, you do realize you can just choose to go on a trip, right? Yeah. You don't have to like bust your butt to, because then it was like a trip that I earned that I was like, well, it could be just Steve and I, right? Yeah. Which was something we always like, if we went anywhere, we would take the kids. So yeah, it was really scary. And like, even when I look back and think what made me actually do it, I don't know.
You just did it.
I just like had this feeling that like over time, you know, the way I was doing things wasn't a good fit. Mm-hmm. And then since then, like,
so how did you break that down? Because if I'm sitting here listening to you, you have 4 kids, you are a wife, you were running business. How did you take that minute to pause and tell yourself, this isn't working for me?
I remember the feeling, like the realization that the days I had to like run like everybody all over and get to clinic were my least favorite days of the week.
Yeah.
And like that happened for a while, and then I was like, wait a minute, like I don't know if I can't remember someone saying something or like but eventually I was like, and I just kept thinking there's gotta be like more. I know people have said to me in the past, like, work is work, right? Yeah. It's not always supposed to be fun. And I mean, true, there are, but overall, I think I wanted it to be that I woke up on Monday morning and I was just as excited for the week ahead as I felt
instead of waiting for the weekend.
Yeah.
See, and I hear that line so much, work is work, and you know, you gotta work, and it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. But I think that's in life.
It is life.
Like, yeah. I don't, when I go to work, I don't, and people think I'm crazy, and anybody who knows me would probably say this anyways, I don't ever see myself retiring, because I'm not building a life to work in. I'm just building my life. When I come into this office every day, it's just part of my life. Mm-hmm. I enjoy chatting with people. I truly believe we are put on this planet to help each other. And I think if you help other human beings, no matter what it is you do, you will be okay in life. If you do it genuine and kindly and without, there's lots. We could really dive. Yes. We won't today.
Yeah.
But I just think, like, work is work, but you're building your life. You're not building work. And we all need to make money, and we all need to do things. And I think there's opportunity to make money doing things that you love, as long as you take a minute to see how you can do the things that you love can help other people. Mm-hmm. That's really...
And I think also keeping your, I don't know what word to use, like barriers in place, mm-hmm. right? Because I went through a bit of an evolution where like I did pull back a lot in terms of like my work productivity over COVID. And then there was like, one of our kids was quite unwell for a year. That was really my priority. And then I had my own health stuff that was like nothing but I was really burnt out.
Right.
And so I finally realized that and was like, crap, like I am not doing what I'm talking to other people about doing. And so that was a whole process. So now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I feel really good. Like my kids are a little bit older. They're 8 to 16 now.
Which is crazy.
Still,
like,
I know.
really feel like you had them yesterday.
Right, I feel like that too. And still need us a lot. But I'm like, I very much can still produce quite a bit in the time that they're at school.
Yeah.
But I want to do that in a way that still allows me to get the sleep that I need, that does my morning workout, that allows me to be present at the things that I want to be for the kids.
Yeah.
To take vacations. Like, I love to travel.
Yes, you do.
I did a lot of travel this past year, and the number of years leading up to it too. And ultimately I want to be able to look back and say, like, I'm really, like, that's what one day I remember I was like, they needed someone to go on a class trip, and I was like, oh, I could stay and like get this stuff done. And then I stopped myself and I was like, if I were to look back on this, what am I going to be glad that I chose?
Yeah.
Like, I have the choice. Not everybody has the choice.
Exactly.
Right? I do have the choice. I will be glad I went on the school trip.
School trip.
Yeah.
I think that was similar. Like, I left the spa industry and did a few transitions, but always stayed in sales. And I think that was the breaking point for me, as I felt like I was missing it. And it was just kind of like that pause where it was like, what am I doing? I'm stressed constantly. I'm not sleeping. I'm worried more about clients than I am about my family. There's got to be a better way. Mm-hmm. There has to be a better way. And it was just kind of like, okay, you know what? Yeah, the spa was doing great. Yeah, what I was doing was fulfilling. But it wasn't fulfilling me, it was fulfilling everyone else. Mm-hmm. And that's where it was just kind of like, okay. But I think 30, 40 maybe even to 50, I don't find I try to please as much. But I used to. Mm-hmm. It's like you get so caught up in this perception of what you're supposed to be and what you have built around. It's really scary to pivot or change or just think outside of that box to make it work within your chapter of your story in that moment.
But I mean, it's the hope that it can be better, right?
Yeah.
So I think feeling like I saw through the other things I'd done, like I am really good at other things too. And it's not that I wasn't good at the way I was doing it. It just, like you said, it just didn't really fill my cup up. It was empty, requiring a lot of me. So now I love that, like, I have this, I can set patient hours. I'm working from home. Yeah. If somebody's sick, like now the kids are old enough that they can be there, right? Yeah. And so the even though part of me does still miss the like in person, right? And obviously,
I thought I had that on airplane mode. I do, but I guess
it's one of those alerts.
That still goes off.
I think it goes out no matter what you do. I was like, if we die.
Yeah, is your phone here? Because yours isn't doing that.
That's true. Yeah.
Yours will come next. Okay. Oh, that startled me.
What was I just saying about
filling your cup?
So like making sure that, realizing there could be a different way that I could work. Like two things can be true, right? And I think I went from like grinding so hard, and then I swung to the other side where like I was working, but like, really
taking a moment,
definitely taking some moments, and then to be at the point where I'm like, okay, I think I want to like, ramp things up a bit, but a part of me for a bit had this fear that like that will take me back over here,
right?
And so that's where a lot of like the number of things I've been working on have helped me realize like two things can be true. Yeah. And my definition of success doesn't necessarily, like, of course we want the financial stability and the ability to, I really want to make a difference, like not
help people.
Yes. And allow me to go on trips and my family to go on trips. Yeah. That is a big carrot for me. But like two things can be true, right? There's a way to like, so that's how I got connected with Dan Martell's book. And I love what he said too about like, I'm guessing he's like in between you and me in age maybe, or is he older now?
No, Dan's older than me. I think
I think he's 45.
Okay, so between us, yeah. So I was guessing from, because in the book, what is it called? Buy Back
Your Time. If you haven't read it, read
amazing.
it.
Yeah, like I've never listened to an audiobook, and I listened to that one.
Incredible
like, start
coach.
to finish.
If you're looking, like, he has helped me more with my mindset than I think anyone. Like, he's unreal. And I don't pay for the one-on-one coaching. It's literally, we jump on a call once a week, and there's like 100 other people in there, and you have to raise your hand immediately, and you get to talk about what you're struggling with, and they talk you through it and walk you through it. And his wife, she does more women empowerment, and she's phenomenal. I'm actually going to be transitioning from Dan to Renee. Just amazing. A really good group. Dan actually introduced me to Adley, and I did the Viralish training for my social media. We went to Nashville and met her. Like, the amount of opportunity with coaching, whether it's Dan or not, I just think Dan's fantastic. But just to have somebody like give you a shake and be like, Jen, get out of your own freaking way. You're making this a bigger deal than what it is. Or when you're hired, like, get a coach. Just get a good coach. I highly recommend it.
I agree with that. Yeah, my coach had recommended reading his book, the one that I'm working with right now. But she was the one that very much was like, you know, whatever we do as an entrepreneur, it's also important that our life looks the way that we want it to.
Yes.
And we can be successful in both realms. Yeah. But like, and Dan says similar things, like you need to have those goalposts set, right? Like the non-negotiables of things that, you know, you don't just let work run into everything. But he said, if you're doing something that you really enjoy, and he also said the same thing, that he doesn't imagine retiring. Like he sees doing some iteration for a long time. So if that's going to be true, like I said, I'm going to live to be 110, and like 110 and like good 110. Yeah. I still have 70 years of production left here. There's like, you know, even at, I mean, it blows my mind that I'm like, what, I'm 49? Like, how did this happen? Not that I feel great, but like, how did this happen? It goes by so fast. It really does. But at the same time, I still have a lot of time. Like, I think I kind of stopped myself. Am I crazy that I still like think of all these big ideas? Like, I would love to speak on bigger stages, and I want to write a book, and I want to like do it. It'll happen. It will happen. But I'm like, but I'm also 50, and like my friends from school are. Retirement is in there, right? The next 5 years or whatever. With the teachers, but
what's retirement, right? Like Dan says this all the time, and this is not like a pro Dan, but it is kind of. But like retirement, like what is that? Like, really, you can coach, you can help people, you can still travel. You're building a life. You're not building something now so you can not work and sit in your house, or like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Retirement. Yeah. Like, I will always like, yes, I sell real estate, but we also have courses and classes and Instagram and trainings and programs that we do too. And we do real estate coaching, and there's so many different opportunities. I don't want to be selling houses for the next 100 years, but I do want to be helping people for the next 100 years. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is about.
Yeah. And even when I sat down, like some of the exercises, you know, like thinking about, well, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, a lot of things I don't really care. Like, I don't want them any different than they are right now. Like, I love the house we live in. I love that I have the opportunity to travel. I love that I'm present with my kids. We eat, you know, not every night, but lots of dinners together. Like, I love a lot of pieces of my life. There's not a lot I want to change. I think what I still think I can do more in is I want to make a bigger impact.
Yeah, and you can.
And that's where I feel like, and you know, sure, impact, but the money, I mean, yes, nobody should ever, right? But it's not about needing to like
be a millionaire,
right? Yeah, so many, nowadays millionaire is nothing. But I mean, it's not that, or that I want a fancy car. Like Steve's trying to convince me to get a new minivan. I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't bring me joy. Like, that's not where. I mean, maybe clothes. I like to buy clothes, but I mean, my life is pretty great as it is. But I do think I feel pushed pulled like or called to do more. I really want, like, I find it so sad. We can lead this into hormones, like when so many women, you know, just casually will say like, oh, I turned 40 and like everything started to go downhill, or, you know, I have no memory and I'm tired all the time or whatever, but you know, it's just hormones.
Yeah.
And there's this whole, like, yes, those things are common, but
it's
not the way it has to be.
Yeah.
And so I know it's not all about me, but I'm like, I feel better now than I did when I was 40.
Yeah.
I still haven't gone through menopause completely, but like definitely I'm in the, at that stage. But I feel like there's so much potential, and that, you know, we have so much we can accomplish still in this next phase of life.
And you know the things that you've done to make yourself feel better. And you are so knowledgeable because you have that background. So what are you doing other than helping people and sharing your knowledge that you've built up over years to give back to other people? Right? Like,
yes.
Like it's full circle. It's just insanity to
and
me.
I feel like the journey, that's it, like what I meant initially, like it's true for a lot of us, right? It might look a little bit different, but feeling like we're being pulled in so many different directions. Part of that is the season of having really little kids, I think. Yeah. And then add on it that you're also trying to like build something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I feel like, all of that, it's like we don't have to have so many of these trade-offs. I'm like, I can be a good mom and I don't have to be at every single hockey practice watching. Exactly. I can stay home and do my workout on a Saturday if that's when it fits in, right? Like we take care of ourselves, we also take care of our families, we take care of the bigger worlds that we live in better.
If you take care of yourself first, then you have the energy to take care of other people too, right? Like that's the thing. I'll never forget when we hired a nanny when my kids were little, and the perception that I felt shame almost. I felt like insecure. I don't want to tell people I have a nanny. I'm going to be judged and that I'm not raising my kids myself and all of the things. And it was like, but Rob and I were drowning. We were running 2 businesses. I wasn't. And it was like, no, we need help. I don't have family here. Rob's family wasn't here. His dad was here, but his dad isn't the type that's going to
take care of little kids.
Take care of little kids. So it was like little things, and it was just like we did it, and I became a way better mom because when I was home, I was present with them. We were playing toys. I was playing trains. I didn't have to worry about doing the laundry and the dishes and cleaning the house. I got to be with my kids, and it worked. And that time, because I could come home and I could have a bath. I wouldn't have to scrub the toilets. It was just, it worked because I was taking care of me. But sometimes it's hard to take care of you because you're so worried about what everyone else thinks.
I can relate. Like, we had a nanny for the days that I was at clinic. So that was like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
When Ivy and Kaden were both really little and so close together. And I justified it because I'm like, well, but you know, daycare for 2 kids, like this isn't really that much different. But I still felt like
I had to justify it.
I had to justify it, and it had to be, I felt like I did it on the days I was at the clinic.
And I think
I would have loved to have had somebody helping even on the other days.
Well, it's funny because we still have a nanny that lives in our house and every day comes up and works from 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock. My laundry, my dish. But I don't tell that to everyone. Why? Because I'm like, oh, they're judging me. Oh, they think. I had one person like, oh, well, it's nice that you can afford that. No, I choose to take that out of my pay. Can I afford it? Maybe. But I'm making sacrifice and putting myself at work, so when I'm work, I'm 100% present to get more. So when I come home, I don't have to worry about that. And my kids are 16 and 14. I still do that.
I know how reliable kids are for helping with cleaning. We're still working on that one.
The boys still have to do their own, they still do their own bedrooms and still have to do it because, like, God help their wives if they ever get married and don't know how to load a dishwasher. But I think being okay and losing the perception when we decided to continue to have a nanny once the boys were old enough, it was the big thing. I remember sitting down with Rob, like, what are people going to think? People already think, like, oh, must be nice. And Rob just looked at me and was like, Jen, why do you care what they think? Are you happier? Are you more present? Are we happier? We choose to place our money differently. It doesn't mean we're rich. It doesn't mean we're It means we're choosing to put our money differently so that we can be present in different times and enjoy. And I have 2 incredible boys, and I have a marriage that isn't perfect, and there's ups and downs, but we have a really strong relationship. He is my best friend, and I really don't think we would be as strong as what we are if I didn't have that help, and I didn't allow myself to get that help. So going back to Dan Martell for a second, being able to buy back your time and pay somebody else to do the things that don't light you up so you can do the things that light you up makes me a better real estate agent, makes me a better mom, makes me a better wife, it makes me a better friend, it makes me a better stager. Everything I do, it makes me better because now I have the time and the energy to put 100% into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So after I read that book, I was like, a house manager? I want a house manager. Yeah. I mean, the challenge working from home now, as much as I love that, because I am very much a homebody, is that stuff is always there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just fold that load of laundry. I'll just, and I am that reading his book, I was like, when I speak to my frustration of how little I can fit in during the school day, it's because a good chunk is being taken up by these things. So we did just hire somebody. We're going to start with 1 day a week.
Okay.
Like to keep the house clean, because that's a whole other story of our not so lucky situation with cleaners, like having one, but they couldn't come. And then it's like too much time. And anyways, so I was like, I want someone to come in. Let's start every week, come for 5 hours, get the house clean, and then help out with like doing some food prep and that, because I know that will take a big load off of my shoulders. And I hate, like he said in his book, sometimes you gotta just step over the load of laundry. I'm like, I can't do that. Yeah. I know myself.
I can't do that.
I can't do that.
I'm the same way. And that's the thing, is just allowing yourself to do those things that work for you to make you more present in the area. I think is so missed in everything that we do in life. We get so caught up, and I think women more so, because you're supposed to be the mom. You're supposed to cook the dishes. You're supposed to do the laundry. You're supposed to be the best friend and there's so much pressure on women. Oh, if you're working, you're not engaged, or you're missing out, or why. I'll never forget, I can't believe you let somebody else raise your kids. They're not actually, my nanny is not raising my
I
kids.
miss our nannies so much. Funny story, but it was not so funny at the time. Like, Ivy was about to start school, so we were like, okay, we're going to end of August. And then we'd had this discussion in the fall prior. January, found out I was pregnant with Crosby. So I was like, wait a minute, this is weeks later. We want you to stay. And she was already snatched up. And we figured it out alternately. But I think those years that she was, and we still she's coming for dinner in a couple of weeks, just to she became a part of our family. And
absolutely.
It was not somebody else raising my kids. And I had zero fears that they were in the best of hands when I would needed to be at the office. Yeah,
I think it was just, I always say it was more of a house manager than it was a nanny, and it made me I had so much more patience. And it's funny now with being in real estate and doing all of the things that I'm doing now, it's the same thing. It's just I need to be present with the boys. Lincoln is 16. You've got a 16-year-old, and it's
so
just
crazy, right?
They're driving, and if I really look at, I'm lucky. I'm lucky if I've got 4 years. I don't want to miss that. I don't want to come home. I work a ton because I want to, but when I come home, I want to go down in his room and chat with him and learn about his day and talk about his homework and just really know them as human beings, where if I come home and the house is destroyed and I got to cook dinner and I'm missing out on that.
Yeah.
And I just think in the world that we're in, there's so much pressure. You can miss it too. Your kids, if they're struggling and I'm too busy to see it, and it's not like we live in a world anymore that moms stay home. That's just not our world. Well, some can, and which is great.
Yeah. Which is also a very difficult job.
It is a very difficult job.
But it's hard to do both, right?
Yeah.
Like something
But you
has
can
to
be
give.
true to both.
Yeah.
You
need to make some adjustments because you can't be 100% like all of those things yourself.
So while we're there, we're going to transition because I can chat with you forever. And I'm like, oh man. But I do want to touch on this because I think us as women as well is we do all of this, but let's add in the change of our bodies. Let's add in the hormones because I know you're really, really, your business is going in that direction. And I think it's something that's not talked about enough. Even myself, I think in my generation, you didn't, my gosh, it just isn't something that's talked about. It's more embarrassing, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about so much more because perimenopause is a thing, menopause is a thing, and how I think there's just not enough education around it. So without going into like really breaking it down, talk about what you do now and how you can help women with the changes in their life and the benefits of not trying to sell you, but selling you right now, the benefits of working with you as a naturopathic doctor and menopause and perimenopause and what it is that you're doing now.
So I see my role as like a lot of, and I'm not like knocking any system of medicine because like I'm very pro conventional medicine too, has done wonderful things for my family and me and lots of other people. But I think conventional medicine is very good at getting people to the line of fine. Right? Like so often, every single week, I'll have patients say, or even people I run into in town, like, oh, I got my blood work done. They said everything's fine.
Yeah.
But when I look at things, I look at it from the lens of optimization, right? So it might be fine in that it's within range, but it's not as good as it should and could be. So I'm always looking, like initially when I meet with people, with women, I usually suggest running like a panel of blood work, or if they've had some of it done, I can look at it through my lens.
Right.
So that's always a good place to start. We want to make sure like nutritionally, iron, that was a big thing in my picture that I ignored. And so I'm very passionate about not letting that get missed for other women, and that a lot of women are told, oh, you're fine, and you're not. Right. You're functioning, but you're tired. Yeah. So there's a number of things like that are very common in women 40 and over, like low iron, low B12. Insulin resistance starts to become a big issue as hormones shift, and often conventionally all we're tracking is glucose, which is only part of the puzzle. So I want to dig deeper and like, again, optimize function. People, they often say, well, can you measure my hormones? That's not actually something that in terms of blood work is super helpful.
Right.
Because it varies with our cycle. It only tells us what's in the blood, but symptoms tell me a lot.
Right.
So I always like do a complete intake and figure out, how is sleep, how is energy, how is mood, go through the whole checklist of things that commonly are affected by hormonal changes.
So let's say you and I, we sit down and you run a panel on me, you take a look at everything thoroughly, you find out the questions on, how are you sleeping, your mood, all of the things. Then what?
So then I kind of prioritize based on those findings, like what needs to be addressed first. A big place that I start with in almost all cases is we've got to optimize digestion.
Right.
Like it's huge because that can be a big reason why absorption is not what it should be. Our immune system's located there. It affects so many like different areas. So that is an important piece. And a lot of times we'll be like, oh, I'm fine, right? Yeah. But the reality is, I don't know how to say this in nice podcast language, but a lot of us are full of shit.
I'll say it for you. I'll say it.
I'm like, we become like our digestive tract, like the pipes that drain from the kitchen sink, and they're draining, but they're kind of cruddy, and we've got to clean that up so that then helps so many other things work better, like lower your inflammation, improve your absorption, obviously improve how you feel digestively, and mood. There's a huge gut-brain connection. So I usually start there.
Okay.
And then the blood sugar piece would kind of be like a second pillar that I look at. Again, in many women, there's a bit of room for improvement there. And I'm always like, also in those initial stages, we're talking about like eating enough protein. That plays into the blood sugar
Right.
and the strength training, right?
Yeah.
Like those are our foundational pieces, just like drinking enough water and other things that we want to be in place.
So, okay, great. We have the test, we have the digging in, we figure out the levels, we get everything balanced. Let's skip all of that. And let's say we go through all of that. I'm coming in, I'm tired, I'm stressed all the time, I'm not sleeping, my iron's low. All of those things come into play. We sit down, you're like, okay, Jen, you need to start doing this, this, this. I do it. Tell me that piece. What is the next piece? What is working with a naturopathic doctor and actually figuring it out? How does it help?
You mean like what is the long-term
Yeah.
step? So that's actually part of, like, in my mind, I think I've always seen it this way, but I don't think I've always been the best at articulating it, because with the line of fine, we're used to like, I'm
Everybody
not
says they're
sleeping,
fine.
get me sleeping, okay, I'm done with you,
Yeah.
right? But really, if we're looking at long-term wellness, it's a journey.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different ways, like as a fast weight coach, like I have a membership group where we continue to have like we get new workouts every week. There's different challenges. There's community. I think community is a big part that's lacking, because we want to surround ourselves with other people who are also trying to optimize their health.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we get to a certain point, and then it's true for all of us, right? We go back to regular life and we stop.
I think it's true for all things though. Like, who you surround yourself with is who you become.
Yeah.
It's like in all things, I say it to my kids all the time, like guilt by association, know your audience. But if you surround yourself with a ton of people who are positive and go-getters and no negativity and lighting each other up, you become that person. Whole thing with wrapping this up quickly, just in case.
In case it explodes.
But is the benefits that it has with working with you. And I think the sales pitch is what I'm trying to get out of you. I just think you're just you and incredible. So I'm going to do it for you. By working with you, you can really understand your body. You can really understand the levels that come into hormones, that come into nutrition, that come into working out. And with the commitment and long term, it's not something that happens overnight. Day by day, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel like yourself again. You're going to be able to do it without, not that conventional medicine is bad, but without having to put too many chemicals in your body, and have your body function the way it should and actually feel like you can achieve anything again. Because
Absolutely. Like I say, my mission is to help women transition to and through menopause with ease, so that they have the capacity to do everything that they are meant to do in this next phase of life.
And you have to get uncomfortable to do those things.
You do. You got to do something different,
Yeah.
right? I always say, like, if you're not happy where you are, then you got to be willing to do something different. And that means it's going to be uncomfortable.
And that's the prime of this podcast. You have to get uncomfortable for change. Jen Haessler, naturopathic doctor. If you are looking for ways to change mentally, physically, in all the right ways, reach out to her. Uncomfortable Growth. I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If anything from today's conversation stayed with you, let it. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, and sometimes it's simply just choosing to keep going. Wherever you are in your journey, whether things feel heavy or hopeful or somewhere in between, you're not behind, and you're definitely not alone. Take what you need from this conversation, leave the rest, and trust that everything will be okay. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. I am Jen Lamont, and this is Uncomfortable Growth.